And if you're a 3CR listener and you haven't heard of Tacoma yet, you should have. They are the David in an ongoing David and Goliath battle happening right here in Melbourne. The little town taking on none other than the Golden Arches McDonald's and trying to stop it from coming to their community. They've been building steady momentum in a very active campaign. I've been watching on Facebook over the last, how long's it been? And it's called No Maccas in the Hills or No Maccas in Tacoma, with a website, burgeroff.com, and tons of brilliant PR strategies. Last Saturday they launched their new CD, 2 songs which we play very catchy that I think we're going to be humming them all day long. And today we're joined in the studio by the spokesperson, Garry Muratore. Thanks for coming in, Garry.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, as you know, we only have about 10 minutes, so we've got to keep our questions and answers short. But tell us a little bit about your community. Where is Tacoma and what's it like?
Tacoma's a small village in the Dandenongs. We tend to say we're the gateway of the Dandenongs. So if you know anything about Puffin Billy, you'll drive right through Tacoma to get to Puffin Billy. We're the second last stop on the line out to Belgrave, and I'm told the 4th least used railway station in the network. So it's a very quiet, peaceful area.
And a very beautiful part of the city.
Absolutely.
And who makes up the community lobby group?
It's basically all volunteers. It comes from local business, it comes from people at school, it's families, etc. I'm the spokesman. I just happen to live 400 metres from where this project is possibly going to go ahead. So I got involved because I was worried about litter and traffic. So other people are involved because they're worried about the fact that this development is just a couple of 100 metres from a school and a kindergarten. Other people got involved because they feel that democracy has just been run over in this case. You may have heard a little bit about the history. Council unanimously voted this down after 1,170 objections, written objections. That was a record. The night that the council heard it, 680 people turned up to the council meeting. They had to hold it in a reception centre. Again, another record. So with the council saying no, the people saying no, that should have been the end of it. But we were told they spent about $900,000 on the VCAT process. They put their VCAT plans in process 2 days before Christmas. And that was a deliberate strategy to stop the people getting together over the Christmas break to put written submissions to VCAT. We managed to round up nearly 400, and we basically went in a marathon session in VCAT last September. In October, VCAT handed down their decision. It was in favour of the developer.
So a lot of momentum, it sounds like, behind your group. But you'd think it would be up to a community to decide what business comes into their neighbourhood. It's kind of a surprise, I think, to people, just that I think a lot of people think, these businesses come because the community doesn't care about them that much. But it sounds like if they don't want a corporate giant like that in their community, they can't really access that. Are they trying to prove that they have the right to develop their...
They have the technical right. It's a strip that's zoned commercial, so they say that they're a commercial venture. And, legally they have the right. I would say morally and ethically, with 9 out of 10 people in the community not wanting it, why would you want to build a business there? And this was really interesting. A lot of people were shocked when the VCAT decision went against us. They could not believe it. So we started a community campaign, grassroots campaign. It was another point in the campaign there where we actually occupied the site and created a community garden. So we showed that something more could be done with the site. We occupied that garden for probably about 6 weeks before the developer had the police come in and 18 police come in and move off one lonely protester one morning. So it was overkill. So it just shows you what developer power. From that, I think McDonald's realised that they had a bit of a PR disaster on their hands, so they started in the local press putting out outrageous statements saying that they couldn't see what the fuss was about because they have good body support in the community. And we just thought this was unbelievable. So we contacted them and we said, where did you get this information from? And they told us they took a survey. We asked them to share the survey results with us, and they wouldn't. So 2 weeks before Christmas, we decided we'd do our own survey, but rather than do a survey where we might ring 100 people, we actually knocked on every door of every house in Tacoma. and we spoke to people face to face. And we found out two things. 9 out of 10 people don't want it.
Yeah.
And people said, how can we help? What can we do? And I guess that was the embryonic stage of what became the rally last weekend. And as you may have read in local papers and reports online, we attracted nearly 4,000 people to that rally.
What has to happen for you to be able to stop this from going ahead?
It's a PR war now.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's have to back down.
Mm-hmm.
They have to realise this is bad for their brand
Mm-hmm.
and this is bad for their franchisees. Now, there's many in the campaign aren't anti-McDonald's per se.
Right.
I mean, I've been known to have a McDonald's burger. If I want one, it's 5 minutes down the road in Ferntree Gully, where
Mm-hmm.
it is in a site that is appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
The site they've chosen in Tacoma is not appropriate. Too close to a school, it's going to cause too much traffic on a single lane highway, and the litter's going to be a problem there. It should stop, and they should realise
Mm-hmm.
that.
And what about small business? Is that one of the issues that people are concerned about?
Yeah, well, I guess if you're a small business, because that strip of shops does have a few other small business stores. There's a few cafes, there's a chicken shop, there's a fish and chip shop. Now, people say, well, that's takeaway food too, but I point out to those, they're not shops that operate 24 hours a day. They're not shops that have drive-throughs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not shops that are designed. They're not a massive corporation. So they're definitely going to be affected. I guess the pro-Macca's cheering squad will say, well, there's all these wonderful jobs for the kids, but we've spoken to the union that represents people in the fast food industry, the SDA, and they tell us that McDonald's typically pay 20% less as a part-time job for somebody that could work at, say, a Coles or a Woolworths. So it's false economy to say that there's going to be good jobs for teenagers in the Dandenongs. They already exist, and they're higher paid ones anyway.
And is there a precedent? Has anyone actually successfully kept out McDonald's before that you know of?
We're told that it was knocked on the head in the Blue Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We were working before Christmas with the head of the Institute for Paediatrics. Interestingly enough, a gentleman called Professor McDonald. And
hilarious.
he told us about, and he also successfully campaigned against it in Port Macquarie and had it stopped being built to a primary school in Port Macquarie.
Okay.
So yes, there is precedence, and I think when they realise that this is bad business, this is damaging the brand, and more importantly, if you were the franchise going into the McDonald's store, you'd have to really question this and say, this could be financial suicide.
Mm-hmm. So really keeping it in the public eye is what you're trying to do. And as I said, this group has been amazing in terms of their PR strategy. We played your CD, and then what else? What other things have you did something with the photos?
Yes, we've had we've asked people from around the world to photograph themselves with a sign saying, "I voted no to McDonald's in Tacoma." We've had pictures come in from Europe, North America, South America. We've even had them from the middle of the Tasman Sea come. It's just amazing that the Dandenongs are famous for its gardens, and with gardens come garden gnomes. So we've had a garden gnome action. The gnomes have been seen all around the Dandenongs carrying little placards that say, "We voted no to Tacoma." And several weeks ago, 200 of them lined up on the steps of McDonald's headquarters here in Fitzroy, actually, as a photo opportunity for the media, and that got on national television and in the daily papers. So it's little things like that, keeping it in the public light, making the politicians understand that the community, don't want this. I was pleased on the weekend to see that the Deputy Opposition Leader, James Molino, come to our rally, and he basically said what everybody knows. This is the thin edge of the wedge. If this goes ahead in Tacoma, there's nothing stopping a Hungry Jack's in Callista, there's nothing stopping a KFC in Olinda, on and on it will go. So we have to stop this now.
People feel that they wish they had, had an action like this in their own communities. So a lot of people getting behind this this movement. And so if people do want to get involved, they should go to burgeroff.com.
Yeah, www.burgeroff.com. We've got all the information there. You can find the links to our Facebook pages, our various sites. There's links to some of the media action. I would like to point out there's a beautiful YouTube clip at the moment of the rally. It's set to some of the music off the CD. You can find that link on Burgeroff to that too. It's well worth a look.
Excellent, thanks. And that we are talking to Garry Muratore, spokesperson for the unfortunately brings us to the end of our chat with Garry.